What's up? It's Kurter85 and I'm back with another video, and today I'm doing a very deep dive of my favorite movie of all time, House. House. So yes, this is my favorite movie of all time. I have a shirt of it. I made a little pet rock of it. I have this poster right here. You can barely see it in the frame, I'm pretty sure, but you know, I very much love this movie, and we're gonna get into why today. I'm gonna go through the plot of it. I'm gonna go through readings of it that I have, and why it means so much to me. Up front, I did just write an essay on Letterboxd about this movie that I'm very proud of. So you could go read that. I'll leave my Letterboxd in my bio, which is I guess without further ado, let me get into my notebook. I rewatched it today in order to refresh the old memories, and I took notes today. So the first thing I want to talk about is the title cards. The title cards show that this was produced by Toho. Toho, if you don't know Ho, is one of the biggest production companies in Japan. Like, even still, it's like pretty big. But like, especially in 1977, which is when this was made, in like 75, I guess it was made. They were like huge deal. They made Godzilla. Does that ring a bell to anybody? Does anybody know what Godzilla is? Because Toho made that. Let that sink in. The same people that made Godzilla made this movie. And the reason that they made this movie is because they saw the success of Jaws, and they told the creator of this movie, I'm gonna mess up his name a million times, Obayashi. I know his last name is Obayashi, so I'm just gonna call him Obayashi. They asked Obayashi to make them a version of Jaws. They wanted Jaws. Like, they wanted their version of a Jaws, and this is what they got. And I just love that. I just think that's amazing. And I'll go ahead and dive into the history of it. I'll just go ahead and dive into the history of it right now. This film was... Okay, so the company Toho approached upcoming commercial director / short filmmaker Obayashi and asked him to give them Jaws, give us an idea of Jaws, but we can't have you direct it because you don't work for us. And that's not like how it worked. Like, you couldn't get a new director. Like, you had to like have worked for them in Toho, and so he wasn't like on staff as one of their directors, so they were like, we have to get somebody else to direct it. But he wrote the script, and he wrote this batshit script, and he was like, this is insane. Like, there's no way that this is gonna get greenlit. There's no way that any of this is gonna get through. And it got greenlit within like 5 hours, like that. And it's like shocking that happened. And I watched like an interview with him, and he was like, I still don't know why they greenlit it so fast, but they did. And so they greenlit it, but then none of the directors that worked for Toho like wanted to make it, because they were like, this would like ruin my career. Like, this is the most insane script I've ever read. And so Obayashi kept being like, please, like, let me direct it, please. I will do a gas job. You just gotta let me direct it. And Toho was like, nope, we're not doing that. And so he was like, well, can I advertise that it was greenlit? And they, for some reason, they went, yeah, you can go and do that. And so he started making business cards, and so he started making posters. He made trailers, I think, maybe not. But he just started spreading the word that this movie was happening. He's like, this is happening, I swear. And he spread the word so much to where There was a radio show that was made about it. There was a manga that was made about it. There was a ton of stuff. The soundtrack was released before the movie came out. Like, this was a legend before it even was made. And so eventually, with all this pressure of people being like, we want the movie, Toho was like, okay, fine. You can direct your freaking movie. Whatever. And so he got to direct the movie. Yay! 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 So that's kind of the like history of how this got made, I guess. And then I'll touch on like some other things that happened like during it later. But yeah. So it starts off with Gorgeous, our main character. I'll go over all the main characters in a little bit. It starts off with our main character, Gorgeous, getting a picture taken of her by her friend, Fantasy. And in this picture, she has like very, like traditional looking gown, a very traditional looking gown on, and is, you know, posing in a very like serious way, and it's like kind of foreshadowing for the future. So I'll like come back to that later as well. But her friend comments like, you looked like a witch. You looked like a witch in those pictures. Come on now. Foreshadowing. So it's the start of summer vacation. They're all very excited. Gorgeous plans to spend it with her dad at his villa. And then all of her other friends are gonna go like, I don't know, get it done. So Gorgeous gets home, and the way that the home is shot is just like, it's shot through these like windows, and it's like so beautiful somehow. Like, it's like the most beautiful stuff I've ever seen. The backdrop is like this very unnatural sunset, which is something that's in the movie a lot. It is amazing, and we'll talk effects a lot more later. But already in the beginning, the effects are like super cheesy and like, but beautiful, if that makes sense. It's very childlike. So she gets home, and her dad comes home, and she's like, oh my gosh, yay, 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 hi. And he's like, I have something to tell you. And she's like, don't say we can't go to the villa. And he's like, no. But we are gonna have company. Meet this white woman. And this white woman that he has started dating comes in. And at first, like, they're like chill. She's like, oh, you're beautiful. And Gorgeous is like, thank you so much. And, you know, it's all chill. And then her dad like leans in and is like, you need to get over your mom's death. It's been 8 years. And she's like, fuck you. And she runs into her room, and, you know, she's mad at the white woman now, and she's mad. I do see the father as kind of a stand-in for Obayashi himself. In a way, like, in the movie, he's like, I'm a commercial director, I think, or like a video maker, and, you know, it's like the same thing. I don't know. I think there's more to that I'll remember later, hopefully. But anyways, in her room, Gorgeous is like, well, I'm not going to that villa anymore. I saw what happened on Love Island. I'm not going to that villa. And so she writes a letter to her aunt that she hasn't talked to since she was 7. And she's like, can I bring my friends and come and stay with you, please? And she sends this letter off. And as she's sending the letter off, this white cat that she names Blanche, knocks over a picture of her mother. And this is just foreshadowing of what's to come, you know. I'm gonna go ahead and spoil. Like, I really hope that you've seen this movie. If you're watching this video, please go watch it if you haven't, and hopefully come back, please. The cat Blanche comes to represent kind of like the spirits that have like overtaken the auntie and like the evil kind of spirits. And so it's already kind of like knocking over her mother and kind of like I don't know, just casting evilness and stuff. Mr. Togo tells the girls, the rest of the girls, there's like a group of girls that I'll tell you about in a second, that the inn that they want to go to isn't going to be open. And so that's why Gorgeous writes the letter to the auntie and is like, can we all stay there? And auntie writes back and is like, yeah, of course, why not? Why would you not be allowed to come over? Please come over. They're all like, hell yeah, bro, like we are going to kill this. We are going to kill this. And it's gonna be sick. It's gonna be sick. We're all gonna hang out and party. And so they all get together. You know, the dad's new girlfriend is talking to the dad. I don't know why that took me so long. To the dad, and it's like, I'm gonna go talk to her. I'm gonna go meet her at the auntie's house. We can talk girl to girl. Okay. Alright, good to know. Good to know. So there's also this like little scene in the middle of it. It's so weird where like this shoemaker and his son are kind of like da, na, 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 and knocking this stuff, and then this guy gets his butt stuck in a bucket and starts like running around and like in stop motion, and it's just kind of random and it's really funny and awesome, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. And Blanche actually makes the guy get his butt stuck in the bucket. I just remember that. The butt stuck in the bucket. And then, okay, we keep going. We get on this train. Blanche is already on the train. You know, he's just like everywhere. This cat. There's very like unnatural backgrounds. This train ride has like an animated sequence. And it's all just so beautiful if you just let it be beautiful. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but you just have to like give into it and you just have to love it, and you will really get a lot out of it. The visuals and stuff, because they're very childlike. They're supposed to be very childlike, and we'll get into why in a little bit, but they're very childlike and very like, they don't look good, but it's on purpose, and I think that it's just beautiful. There's a quote in there where one of the girls is like, any old cat can open a door, but only a witch cat can close one. Foreshadowing. Anyways, the aunts, we get like a flashback of what the auntie went through, and it turns out that her fiance was drafted into the military for World War II, but he died. He just died. He died in the war, but he promised that he would come back. But he didn't, because he died. So she was just there waiting for him at the house, because she promised she would wait for him. And she's just been waiting for all of eternity. And she's been very lonely. So she's a very sad character. Yeah. The bus. Okay, we get a girl intro after this. The girls all like walk out of the bus, and we get like pan-ins on all their faces with like a circle frame, and it's like cute. And so our characters are Melody, Fantasy, Proof, Prof, whatever, Sweet, Kung Fu, Mac, and Gorgeous, of course. And I'm going to go ahead and address this. They treat Mac dirty throughout this movie. I do not condone the way these girls talk to Mac. The reason that she's called Mac is because it's the second half of stomach. And they're like, she's so fat. She's a fatty. And she always has been. And, you know, I don't condone this. Like, I cannot overemphasize how many jokes they make about how fat Mac is. And she's not even fat. Like, at all. Like, in the slightest. It's insane. I'm like, Japanese beauty standards. You think American beauty standards are bad now? Look at Japanese beauty standards in the 70s. That's all I'm gonna say. Also, I'm sorry if that was offensive. But they get there, they meet the watermelon stand dude. He's a very odd character. He's like, ooga booga booga. I sell watermelon. And they're like, okay, where's the house? And he's like, oh, house is up there. But don't go, it's dangerous. He's kind of like the like guy that's like, don't go, it's dangerous. Like the foreseer, you know, the guy that knows something. But he shows them how to get there anyway. And they take a hike. They take a hike up there. And they finally get up there, and the door opens on its own. And the auntie is just like waiting for there. She's in a wheelchair. She's just sitting there. She's like, hi, I've been waiting for you. This is awesome. And they're all like, hi, this is great. This is great. They all get in for a picture, and Blanche immediately jumps in the auntie's lap. And they all get in for a picture, and Blanche, like, the cat's eyes sparkle, and the camera like jumps up and it breaks on the floor. And, you know, witch stuff, and the auntie is just like, forget it. Forget it. It's, you know, you drop things. But let's live in the moment. Let's live in the moment. That would be my response to me, like, shattering someone's phone at like a concert because they won't get off their phone. And I'm like, let's just live in the moment. Let's not worry about how it happened, okay? So Blanche breaks the cameras. They're like looking around this big house that they get into, and one of them is like, there's so many pictures of the cat. There's pictures of the cat everywhere in this movie. The cat is all over this movie. This cat, more specifically, and this cat, both of them. They're both the same cat. So they're talking to Auntie, and they're like, so do you have any visitors anymore? And she's like, no. And they're like, oh my gosh, that's so sad. Just kidding, they're not like that. But, you know. Sorry. So they're like walking all over the place, and you're looking at the architecture of this house, and you're like, there's stairs everywhere in this house. Like, every place has stairs. How is she getting around in a wheelchair? I don't know. So it turns out that the auntie eats. This isn't revealed now. I'm just telling you so that way I can explain some stuff later. The auntie is possessed by a spirit that, like, makes her eat girls, pretty much. Like, the house and her eat girls, you know. So Mac comes back, or Mac appears. We didn't even realize that she was gone. And she has this watermelon, because of course she's the one that gets the food. And she's like, I got this watermelon as a gift. And the grandma, why do I keep saying the grandma? She kind of looks like a grandma. I keep saying grandma. I mean auntie. The auntie, like, says the most unhinged thing I've ever heard. She's like, what does she say? She says, Mac, you sure look tasty, being so round and all. Why would you say that? That's insane. It's like foreshadowing because she's gonna eat these girls, but like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. Yeah, so, oh my gosh, wait, where am I? Sorry. I'm so sorry. So they're cleaning, and they cook dinner, and the auntie has gone to bed, and Mac is like, okay, well, I'll go get the watermelon. She leaves, and they're like, she's gone for like a while. They're like, what's going on? So Fantasy goes to check, and she's like, oh, you didn't even get the watermelon. Mac didn't even get the watermelon. And she pulls up the rope at the bottom of this well, because, sorry, I didn't explain that. The watermelon is at the bottom of this natural cooler. It's a well, keeps it cold. So she's pulling it up, and Mac's head is on it, and it like bites her on the ass, and
Hi.
There's gonna be a lot of things I say where it's gonna sound like I'm just saying stuff. I'm just like making stuff up. But that's because this is a movie, a film, that you have to experience. Like, me doing this, me talking about it, is only gonna be good to watch if you know what I'm talking about. You have to experience this movie and let it just like wash you over. Like, you can't get even a gist of it from the things I'm saying. You have to know what I'm talking about. So like, please watch this movie. But yeah, Mac bites Fantasy's ass, her head does, and she's gone. After she gets back, she's like screaming and huffing and puffing, and she's like, something's happening. And the auntie comes in and she just like stands up, and they're like, you can stand? And the auntie's like, you all gave me energy. Okay, it's because you eat people. It's because you eat people. There's a shot where one of them is getting water and the water turns to blood right in front of them. It's like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Logs attack Kung Fu. Like she's chopping logs, and then they all just get up and start attacking her. And she's like, it was probably just in my head. And then the auntie crawls in the fridge, and there's a fourth wall break. She like crawls in the fridge, and she like appears on frame like this, and she's like looking at the girls, and then she looks up at the camera. It's a crazy fourth wall break. Like, yes, one of my favorite movies of all time has a fourth wall break. I don't care. There's nothing wrong with that. So then there's flashes of the auntie like eating human flesh. We never really cut back to this, but I think it's just like showing that she's eating these girls. Like, maybe not literally, but like the house is like just consuming them. And then there's like a Meow cover of the theme that's been going on throughout the movie. Just thought I'd say that because it's awesome. Gorgeous finds her aunt's old mirror and looks in it, and this is when her reflection shows the auntie, and then the auntie like, what happens? The mirror shatters. And then Gorgeous's face shatters, and like it lights on fire. Like, this is all not gonna make sense if you haven't seen it, but you know what I mean. And this is showing, I think, just like, this is when the aunt possesses Gorgeous. This is when Gorgeous gets taken over by the aunt, I think. Sweet is killed by mattresses, and they're commenting, they're like, Mr. Toho will be here soon, which is a coach that they're all kind of have a crush on, and they invited him to come up, and he is not. But there's a quote here, he's a man after all, he can help us, he'll be the knight in shining armor to come in and save the damsel in distress. So that is kind of what these girls are working with, but this comes in later and it's like subversive. The girls find Gorgeous, who has been possessed by the auntie, and she leaves to go to the police station, and all of the doors lock behind her. And so all the girls are locked in there, and the girls are all like, the doors must be on a timer, so there's no need to worry. Let's just go ask the aunt how to open the doors. And they're all like, that's a good idea. And so Proof and Kung Fu go upstairs and find Gorgeous dressed as the aunt. In this like attire that she had in the picture in the first scene that we see her in. And you also see the aunt in that in the flashback that showed us what happened to her husband. So this is when, wait, what happens next? Sorry. Yeah, they find her dressed as the aunt, and then yeah, I guess this already happens. So then this is the part where Melody is playing a song, and then the piano bites off her fingers. I swear it happens. But then that's not all. It eats her. It just completely eats her. Now, what do you think of that? It's pretty awesome. It's one of my favorite scenes ever. And again, it just has to be experienced, but it's just so good. It's so good. And then the new Gorgeous. Wait, what did I say? Yeah. Then as Kung Fu and Proof are looking for like a clue or anything, they're just like looking around. They find Sweet in a clock, and the clock like starts bleeding a ton, and it's really disturbing. It's actually like kind of freaky. This movie isn't very scary like most of the time. It's like a horror movie, but it's not very scary. But this part does kind of freak me out. It kind of disturbs me. And then there's jump cuts that are further like connecting the Auntie and Gorgeous. That's like their faces at the same time. So, you know, the Auntie is Gorgeous now. And so Kung Fu, wait, what happens next? The Proof reads the Auntie's diary that says that she's like fully in denial, that she's like, she does not believe that he died in the war, and she's like, I'm gonna keep waiting here for him forever. And then after Kung Fu and Gorgeous get into a fight, they all end up back in this like living room, and these huge lips come out of nowhere, and they're like huge lips. Oh my gosh. And they tell it's Gorgeous's lips, and it tells them that it tells the remaining girls that her auntie has been dead for years, but that she wanted to be married so badly that her body remained alive after her death, which is really tragic, I think, and it very much makes me sad. But that is like the reason that the auntie is so mad at these, or like that's the reason that the auntie. Well, no, we haven't really gotten to the reason. She eats it also tells these girls that she eats all unmarried girls who come to the house because it's the only time she can wear her bridal dress. And this kind of gets at why the auntie is so mad at these girls, because they're unmarried and they're not taking life seriously, and they get to be innocent and stuff, and the auntie does not feel like that's right, and she wants them to suffer like she had to suffer. And so she just feels this like jealousy towards these girls, and so she just eats them. Kung Fu gets out of there. She like breaks through the door, and she tries to call 911, but the phone cord like starts wrapping around her neck, and she's like, oh my gosh. And so she just destroys the phone. Kung Fu is a badass. Like, Kung Fu is the coolest person ever. Her theme is one of the best things about this movie, and I want her to protect me every day. I would just like hire her as a bodyguard because she's so cool and she can do anything. But they realize that all of this is like connected to the cat, and so Prof is like, you need to kill that cat picture, like get that cat picture and break it. And so Kung Fu's like, I'm on it, and she jumps up and she gets her head caught in a like ceiling lamp and like starts flailing around. And she dies, but not before her legs detach and kick the painting. And they're like, yay, we killed the cat, we kicked the painting, we did it. But the painting starts just like spitting on blood everywhere, and then the floors come out, and they start like floating panels, and they start floating on this like pool of blood that's just beneath the house all of a sudden. And they're like, Mr. Toho, he's gonna come save us. Yeah. And then it jump cuts to Mr. Toho eating eating noodles. And then it cuts to him finally arriving at the watermelon stand, and the watermelon guy is like, what are you doing? Like, what's your favorite fruit? Like, I need to know your favorite fruit. And he's like, bananas. And he's like, what? You don't like watermelon? He's like, no, bananas. Bananas! And then he turns into a pile of bananas. Well, okay, to be fair, the watermelon guy turned into a skeleton and scared him so bad. So he turned into a pile of bananas. That's just what happens. But then a vase with teeth drags Prof into the blood, flashback, or cut back to the house, drags her into the blood, rips off all her clothes, kills her. Fantasy then, on her paddle boat like thing, swims over to the stairs and sees Gorgeous, who is in like a gown, come down the stairs where it's not flooded yet. It's kind of like at a level where these are the stairs and like the blood is right here. And she grabs onto her shirt and reveals one of her breasts, which seems exploitative, but it more just represents like the motherly position that she's in right now, and the more like dominant position that she's in, that she's in control. And so let's see, who is it? Fantasy swims up there and begins to cuddle, and like the whole Gorgeous like holds her kind of like a baby, and then it cuts back and forth between it being Gorgeous and the auntie doing the same thing. And then Gorgeous, okay, yeah, and then it just fades to black, and that's kind of the end of that. And it's presumed that she ate her, and that they all got ate. So that sucks. The next shot is the new girlfriend, the white woman, with her scarf in the wind, driving up there. She takes her time. She walks up to the room, and the door opens for her, and she sees Gorgeous in a very traditional gown, and clearly like embodying the auntie now. And the mom is like, hey, how are you doing? Like, where are your friends? Are they all asleep? And she's like, yeah, they wake up when they're hungry. Yeah, that's good. And then it ends with a monologue of the auntie, and one of the lines is, the only thing that never perishes is love. And I just think that is very poignant, very sad. So that is the movie. That's the movie. It's a clean, like 90, 85 minutes. It's just an insane fever dream that I love. So we'll get into stuff that I like about it and like reads on it. So this is a very deeply like feminist movie. The girls all expect that this guy, Mr. Toho, is gonna come and save them, and he does not. The only times that we really check in on him are when he's eating noodles or when he's stuck in traffic, and then eventually he gets lost and talks to this watermelon dude and literally just turns into bananas. And I love that his build-up is just so like, it just falls flat, and that a man does not come and save them, and that there's not like really any men in this movie. And it's very like contradictory to like what the norm would be at the time, was to have like a man come in and save them. But in the end, like, this is just like, I don't think that the fact that they all die, I don't think it's because Mr. Toho never arrived. I think it's just because this is such an unstoppable force. And also, I think that unstoppable force probably stopped Mr. Toho from even getting to the house, because she only wants unmarried girls there, or women at least, girls. Because the wife gets there at the end, so she's not married, so I don't know. But yeah, I think that that's more of that. But I also think that the fact that they keep expecting a knight in shining armor and then it just strictly does not happen, I think it's very intentional and like telling of how like reliance on like, not trying to do the like men ain't shit thing, but like the reliance on a man societally, like this isn't just like individually, but like as a society, the reliance on men is very like weak and frail and like not always there. So there's that. The World War II themes, there's a lot of themes about World War II. The director, voice crack, sorry. The director, Obayashi, he survived World War II. He lived through World War II as a child, and he specifically lived in Hiroshima, where all of his childhood friends died. All of his childhood friends were wiped out in the Hiroshima bombing, which is, it paints such a different light on this film. And it shows the character of the aunt in a new light, about how she lost something to the war as well. She lost her soon-to-be husband, and her jealousy and her, not jealousy yet, but her anger and her just grief about the world and about her husband and about the world and about the war just makes her into this like jealous monster that only wants to eat unmarried girls because they have it better than her. And it makes her character like really tragic in a way, and it gives you some like sympathy for why she acts the way she does, even though like that doesn't make what happens okay. Like what happens to the girls is still very scary for them. Like it doesn't frame what happens to them as being deserved either. It frames almost everybody in the movie as a victim of some sort of system, and I think that that's very poignant, especially for a movie that's like so zany and is so like kooky on the surface. Like I don't pick up on these themes for like the first 3 viewings of the movie, but it's super intentional. You can tell, especially given like his background and how just tragic that is, and it gives a new layer to the movie. A lot of the ideas as well in the movie came from his child. His child gave him the ideas of like the piano and the mirror and all that stuff, and it just gives this childlike view of the world in this movie that is so essential to it, because these girls are like children in the movie, and it's kind of that like contrast of things, and also it's just really fun. But that's why the effects are kind of like not good on purpose. Not good, it's on purpose. And you don't have to like that. You could hate that, and that's totally fine with me if you hate that. I just really love it. I just think it's great. There was no storyboarding on set. I'm just kind of going through like facts that I think are cool. There was no storyboarding on this set, but everybody still had a great time on set. Everybody was having a great time. And I just think that's a great thing to hear, that people were just having a great time on set. And yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm just like really grateful to be living in the same time as this movie. And I think it's such a thematically like rich movie that I'm just in love with. And I understand why a lot of people might not like it, but I think if you can just kind of like get into it and let it be weird and let yourself be weird with it, then it's just like the most fun movie ever. And the themes of like generational trauma in there as well, of it just being like passed down. I think that's why it goes from the auntie to Gorgeous, her niece, because it's just generational. It's not, um, it's just like something that gets passed down. And so Gorgeous has to embody that trauma afterward and become the spirit. And it just shows how like clamped on and vicious that like cycle of abuse can be. And so it's super poignant, but also very fun and just a really great movie and a great time. So yeah, I guess that's all I have to say. I kind of thought I would go on longer, but I think I've just been thinking about this movie so much lately. I wrote like a whole essay about it today, and I watched it, and I've been thinking about making this video for a while. So I think I'm ready to have a little break from it, even though it's just the best movie ever. Like, I could watch it again tomorrow and I would be fine. But yeah, that's my review of my favorite movie of all time. And I really appreciate y'all for watching. Go check out my Letterboxd if you're curious at all. And I hope I didn't sound too pretentious and annoying in this video. I am just very passionate about it, and I kind of sound pretentious when I'm passionate about things. So, but yeah, that's gonna be it for me today. I appreciate y'all, and Kurtzer85 out.